Hey guys, I'm Ezzy, and in today's Dungeon Run Spotlight we'll be taking a look at Darkheart Thicket on +25 with Tyrannical, Afflicted and Bolstering. Darkheart is one of the dungeons we haven't done much together as a group, which is a shame because it's a nice short 30-minute key. As we start, we're going to be pulling the trash up to the bear and use heroism. Each DPS has been assigned an owl to interrupt, and once we've done that, then we really want to funnel our DPS into the bear. For any extra casts, we use AoE CC such as stuns. The increasing damage from the bear's AoE is bad enough on other weeks, but with our AoE damage, the stacks of bolstering will quickly turn the bear into a one-shot monster. We also just completely ignore the Nightmare Abomination ads that spawn from Spew Corruption. Instead, we'll be kiting them and the trash back as we continue to try and kill the bear as quickly as possible. Alright, so here comes the second drawer, and with 3 stacks of bolstering and 1 stack of the roar, it's going to be instant death for me. So Turtle comes out and we wrap up this first pool. Well, almost. Not before this bolstered cat has its way with me. For this next pull, we again do 2 packs and we pull them back so that the tank can use the environment to keep the razor beaks in place and charge at the wall. The ruiners need to be interrupted, but due to an overlap, we don't have the 2 subsequent interrupts needed to get the second ruiner all the way into the pack right away. When these die, we do our best to jump up and drop down to get into position for the next pool. I use camouflage here just to make sure that the pets don't pool, because you never know how they're going to behave when you do skips. Sometimes they walk, sometimes they instantly teleport to you. Alright, next pack. It'll again be a pool of 2 packs, but we just have to wait for the patrol to walk to us. There's going to be a lot of cats jumping around putting dots on us. These don't fade away until your health goes back to 90%, so help your healer out with self heals and cooldowns such as Blessing of Protection. Another bolstered cat is going to claim another life here. Sadly, the stun from Binding Shot did not stop the damage from occurring. Once the cat food has been rezzed, we're going to get our first big mistake of the run. The patrol of 2 casters is in a really bad spot and we should have waited longer to pull. They're going to pull the pack of 4 on the left that we don't want at all. Now that they're dead, we pull the last pack before the first boss. Normally this is the pack we would want the patrol with, because DPSing down just 2 mobs feels like a waste of time. Okay, now that that's dead, we have the first of 2 invis skips that we do. I have nothing good to say about the double bear pack. It has no redeeming qualities, so let's just camo and move on to the first boss. We try and keep the Arc Druid close to the center so that the adds pools are grouped together and the tank gets knocked back far enough to easily dodge the charges. The adds will spawn on the location of the players, so you also want to stand close to the middle and to other players. This is very much a rinse and repeat fight with just the 3 mechanics rotating. On the higher keys, the bleed from the jump will definitely hurt, so using your personals will definitely help the healer. And if you have stone form, even better, just get rid of it. Alright, onto the next types of trash. Prioritize the Dryads, they're incredibly annoying. They jump around and attack random players. The Blossoms are just a slight annoyance where you have to move out of swirls, so you'll see us pull new packs whenever Dryads and Keepers are dead. These keepers will heal the flowers, so unless your group intends to kill them, just ignore them and continue on to the next priority target in the next group of trash. Of course, if there's 2 priority targets in the group, such as the Keeper and Dryad, you should still cleave. Keepers and Dryads are not affected by the healing aura. Okay, so this third pack will be the last one before we clean up the Blossoms. The flowers won't heal and the Dryad needs to die so she won't be buffed by bolstering. Normally, once the Dryad is dead, we'd pull the pack of flowers behind the building so they can be part of the cleaning up of the Blossoms. But because we pulled the extra pack before the first boss, we don't need to do that this time. Right, on we go. Double Keepers this time. We will just kill these and then take the flowers into the Dryad patrol. As the Dryad dies, the tank will pull one of the dwellers into these flowers. Thankfully, because the dweller was still too far away, it did not get bolstered by the first flower's deaths. Also, because it's just one dweller, bolstering is not a big issue as long as the cast is interrupted. With that dead, we move on to the last pool before the second boss, which is a bit chaotic. The 4 remaining dwellers will all need to be interrupted. We start by each individually interrupting a dweller to get the interrupts on cooldown. After that, we coordinate the AoE interrupts to interrupt all 4 casting at the same time. So we rotate through things like stuns, disorients, and knockbacks. One dweller gets desynchronized from the others because of a single target stun, which complicates things a bit, but we make it work. Right, Oakheart really hurts on the higher keys. Tyrannical Oakheart? Ouch. If this had been a 26, that Shattered Earth AoE would be a one-shot, and there would not be enough cooldowns to live through every ability that needs it on 26. For Strangling Roots, we use movement impairment immunities to clear as many as we can. Blessing of Freedom, Druid Shapeshift, Hunter Disengage with Post Haste, they're all great ways to help clear them up. If an ad does spawn, we just cleave it down. Unsurprisingly, Crushing Grip hits like a truck, so if you're targeted by it, you'll definitely need to use a cooldown to reduce the damage you take. Unfortunately, Shattered Earth managed to take out the healer here, but thankfully we have a Baldoraz available, so we managed to recover and continue the fight. Right, up next we have the Trash, which I think could really have used a visual clarity update. When these slimes die, they'll deal a large amount of damage. But it's not right when they die. There's a delay and there's no visual indicator that the hit is coming. Of course, you should just use a defensive right before they die, but this really should be communicated better. In terms of dealing with the elemental, we have our tank face into a wall so that he doesn't charge off into Narnia. And when it splits, we again use AoE CC to stop the casts from the smaller elementals. Here at the last pool before the third boss, we don't want the second elemental, and we've had one bad social aggro pool already, so we take it cautiously here. Once the elemental is gone, we take the last slimes and pull them into the boss. This fight is just a rotation of his 3 abilities, and the breath should always be faced away from the group, so it's really just 2 abilities. The key to downdraft is to stand as close to Dresseron as possible. When you stand in his hitbox, the pushback is very weak. What you also want to do when downdraft nearly ends as ranged is to move to the edges of the room. The earth-shaking roar will put a big AoE circle on one of your players, so if you move away from the boss you can keep the boss area clear. After it's spawned, move back and simply repeat the fight. Alright, onto the last hallway of trash, and boy do they hurt. We prioritize the imps and interrupt every cast that we can. The first pack wasn't too bad because it's very easy to control. This pack with the Stalker, however, is pure pain. As he jumps on random targets, it's very easy to run out of interrupts and then be killed out of nowhere by the Stalker. Thankfully that didn't happen on this run, but it's happened to us on more than one occasion. With that pack done, let's move on to the last trash pack we kill, and this one really hurts the tank. The bats will put a life-stealing disease on the tank, so in addition to the one disease dispel we have, we also use AoE crowd control to stop them as much as possible. This brings us to our second invis skip, and boy do I hate it. As you can see, the druids can easily stealth past the mobs, but 3 out of the 4 times they always see me through my camouflage. It seems camo doesn't have the same stealth level as other stealth spells, which makes me wonder, what are you thinking, Blizz? There's nothing really special going on here until 50%. He has a ton of health that we have to get through, but other than that, it's just the basics of the encounter. One note for Feed the Weak though. If you get targeted by it, you can feign death to stop the cast completely. Okay, so we've reached 50%. This is the point to use all cooldowns such as heroism, and definitely use a survivability cooldown to reduce the apocalyptic nightmare damage. Your ranged player should be standing at max range unless there's no one else at range to deal with the silence from Waking Nightmare. The phase 2 swirls spawn semi-randomly. They'll more often spawn at player locations, so the more people in melee, the more swirls that will buff Xavius. And that was Tyrannical Darkheart Thicket. Let me know if you'd be interested in more videos of runs with and without commentary. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe and share it with others. I would very much appreciate it as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. For now, I'm Mezzy and I'll see you again next time.